Hello and welcome to the goal setting introduction that I'm going to do today. So it's going to be a brief thing just to give you an idea of how to set goals if you've never set them before, or maybe you just want a few more tips on how to make them more, your goal setting more productive. So the first thing I would say is that if you are a goal setter and you set some goals for the last year, this one that we're just coming out of, then I would recommend that you have a look at your goals and see what you managed to achieve. We're very good as humans in looking at our failures and things, the negative things, but not so good in looking at the positive things and giving ourselves a pat on the back when we've achieved something. So I think if you have a look, you'll be surprised at how many things that you set out to achieve you actually did achieve. So give yourself a big round of applause or a pat on the back for that. So this goal setting introduction, the first thing I want to say is that you need to think about and make a list of the thing that is really important to you, because you've got to set a compelling goal. That's what the first thing it has to be. It has to be compelling. So think about the thing you want to solve, to change, or learn, or become, or create, or do. Make a list of them. And then when you've made a list of them, you need to have a look at them and see which are the ones that are the most important, trying to identify the one that is the most important to you. Then what I recommend you do is think about, make a note of all the negative and limiting beliefs that you can think of that will come into your head and play with your mind when you're trying to do your goal. You know, all the things about, oh, you know, you're an imposter. You know, who do you think you are? What makes you think you're going to achieve this? All those little nagging doubts. And they will probably come along. They do for me, especially when you've maybe seen a comment or someone said something to you and it hasn't been very productive or helpful, and then you start to feel a little bit negative about yourself. What you need is to go through them now on all the things that you feel negative about yourself. And then what I want you to do is read them through and then score a line through them and right next to it, not true, because they're not true. They're really not true. So let's deal with those at the very start, because when you start or you plan to start to do something, you know, if you think you can, you can. You know, as long as it's not outside nature, if you think you can do it, you can. But if you think that you can't, then you're not going to achieve it. And that's the problem. So let's go through all the negative and limiting beliefs and let's deal with them next. So firstly, make your list and identify the most compelling goal. To try and make it compelling, it's something that you need to want to do like immediately. And not only is this goal going to benefit you, but it's also going to benefit someone else that's close to you. So it might be that it will benefit your children because it will mean that you'll be able to spend more money on them or spend more time with them, or it might be your partner because you might be able to, again, you know, contribute to the household bills. You know, you might be able to have enough money then to make you be able to go on an annual holiday, or it might be your parents who have really worked hard to invest in you to make sure that you could do what you want to do. It doesn't matter, but you need to think of someone else other than yourself who this is going to benefit. Okay. So once we've dealt with the negative thoughts and we've got our goal, then we need to be quite specific about that goal. So we need to define it, be very specific. It can't be wishy-washy. So you need to choose one goal, make sure it's compelling, make sure it's really important to you. So for instance, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is totally unimportant and 10 is I really must act now and achieve this, where does it lie? If you find that your goal that you have chosen is less than a 7, then you need to go back to your list and start again on that list, because it's not compelling enough. It should really be like a number 10, where you have to achieve that goal. So that's what you're looking for. Okay. So then defining your goal, where it needs to be written down. I would recommend that you write all of this down, because it's great to refer back to things. You need to, like, let me give you an example of something that's defined and specific. Okay, so if I wanted to lose weight, I would say, I'm going to lose 2 stones, and I'm going to do that by joining the gym, or I could say by going on a diet in 6 months. So it's going to take me 6 months to lose those 2 stone, and this is what I'm going to do to achieve that. So that's quite defined. It's saying what I want to do. It's saying what time I want to do that in, and it's saying exactly how I'm going to do it. So another one that might be helpful is if I wanted to learn to play an instrument because I wanted to play a specific tune, I might say, I want to learn to play the guitar and play a specific tune, whatever that might be, by this time next year. So in a year, I want to learn to play the guitar so I can play this specific tune. Okay, one more. Let's do one more for luck. So if I wanted to say achieve a degree, or just if I wanted to do a specific qualification, then I might say, I'm going to study for a degree or this specific qualification, and I'm going to achieve that within the next 3 years. So I know what it is I want to do, and I know how long that's going to take me. Okay. So that's what you need to do. You need to be really, really specific about your goal setting and make sure that you have made a note of it. So the other thing that I want to say is that if this is not a new goal, and a lot of times they're not, sometimes you would have tried to achieve a goal before. You may have called it a New Year's resolution. A lot of people do that in the new year. So if it is not a new goal, then you need to look at what happened the last time when you didn't achieve that goal. Now, where did it fall down? Where did you fall down short? What went wrong? And you need to be objective, okay? Like earlier on, I said that we're very good at being negative and we are very good at beating ourselves up and telling ourselves that we're no good at this, that, and the other. So you need to be objective about this. This is not about self-recrimination. This is not about making yourself feel bad. This is about looking at the process and seeing what can be done better to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes and you can achieve your goal. So that's really quite an important step to do, to see how you can solve the issues in advance. So you're not going to come, when you do come across those issues, you know actually what to do. Okay. So the next thing then is you need to decide what your first 3 steps are. So we've defined and decided what our goal is. We've looked at that. We've tried to make sure that we're not going to talk ourselves out of this goal by telling us that ourselves that we can't achieve it all and we're no good, not good enough. Okay. We've defined that goal and made it really specific to exactly what we're trying to achieve, not making it vague in any way. We've looked at what we can do better if we've tried to achieve that goal previously. And now we're going to look at the first 3 steps that we're going to put in place to get ourselves started. So with some goals, it may be that there are people, experts out there that would be great to speak to or go and see. So if there are, then see if you can make an appointment to see them, or to talk to them over the phone, or contact them by email, or if they do seminars, attend one of their seminars. If you find that actually to get started, you really need to learn something, then look to see if your local college has a course that you can enroll on, just to get you started so that you can move forward on this. Because some goals do need you to develop and master new skills. So it depends really what your goal is. So also, you should ask yourself if anyone has achieved that goal previously. So if someone has achieved that goal previously, and likely it is that someone has, you know that it's achievable. Someone else has done it. So of course you can do it. If someone can do it, you can do it. If no one has ever achieved it before, then at least you know that it's going to be really hard. At least you know that, which helps you then pre-plan. Okay. So once you've got your 3 steps, what I want you to do is book them into your diary. Book into your diary what it is you're going to do, what your next 3 steps are going to be, and get them into your diary so that you know what it is you're doing. So, a lot of people talk about SMART goals, and I do believe that they should be SMART goals. So they should be specific. So we talked about that, and making sure that it's specific and defined. They should be measurable, so you know what you're going to do and how long it's going to take you, and achievable. So as long as it's not outside the laws of nature, then it should be achievable for you. And it should be relevant to your circumstances and what it is you want to do. And it should be time bound. And the only one of those that I sometimes, I'm a little bit not so hard and fast on is the time bound. And the reason why I'm not so hard and fast on the time bound one is because I find that when I've set myself a goal, sometimes as long as I'm plodding along and doing it and I'm achieving what I want to achieve, even if sometimes it's 1 step forward, 3 steps back, but I'm progressing, and it's taken me slightly longer than I anticipated it would take, or how long I wanted it to take, because that's, it's quite often it's a guess. You need to put a timeline on it, and so you're just making an estimate. And as long as all those things are in place and that I'm happy with it, then I'm not so worried about whether it takes me longer than I anticipated or wanted it to. Because life is like that, and quite often life will throw you a curveball of some sort, which throws you off track or delays you in some form or another. So that's the one that I'm not really too hard and fast on. The other thing that I just wanted to say actually that I should have said a bit earlier is that you need to pick one goal. Now I said that earlier, but I want to be a bit more specific on that, which is that if you have more than 3 goals, then you're going to find it really, really hard to achieve them. Some people who are really good at goal setting can have 3 goals running alongside one another, but I would really, really recommend that you concentrate on one goal at a time, especially if you're not a goal setter, you don't normally do set goals for yourself. So that's quite important actually. So a few goal setting tips then, just to finish off. And the first one I want to talk about is time excuses, because I don't accept time excuses. No. Because you are the master of your own time, and it's down to you to manage your time and not fill it with things that are going to use your time inappropriately or not productively. Okay, so if anybody comes to me, my clients, and they're talking about giving me a time excuse, then I'm likely to get them to do a 7-day time checker to see where it is they're spending their time, whether they're spending too much time on the TV, watching Netflix, too much time on the internet, surfing or on Facebook or Instagram or something else. Okay, that's what I'm likely to do, is to get them to fill that in, and then we can see where we can find some extra time to do something, because at the end of the day, if something is really important to you, you will find the time. So for instance, I guess, if it was a case of life and death and you had to find 2 hours a day to do something, or not do something, as the case may be, you would find those 2 hours. You would find those 2 hours. So time excuses are no excuses in my book. The other thing I'd like to say is that when you set goals, it's really, really good if you can have an accountability partner. So a mentor or a coach or even a good friend, someone who's not going to take any nonsense and believe your time excuses or the reason why, you couldn't do something this week or last week or what have you, and hold you to account. So an accountability partner is really, really, really recommended that you get yourself. And the goal that you are trying to achieve must be genuinely important to you. I know I've said this already, but I'm underlining it this time. It must be genuinely important to you. And also factor in, like I said, people that are close to you, that you care about, how that is going to benefit them. So the goal has to be genuinely important to you. Another one is to make sure you write down your goals. So write them down so you can refer to them. They're not just all in your head. That isn't a wise thing, and it doesn't show that you mean business to start off with. Another tip is that to use, or let me say it this way. First of all, there is no such thing as failure, okay? Let's just talk about it. No such thing as failure. What failure is feedback. So always think of it in those terms, okay? So if something doesn't go right, then change it. Look to see what went wrong and use that feedback to make sure it goes right next time. So that's what I always do. Sometimes I pivot because the way I'm trying to do something is not the most appropriate or best way, So I don't worry about that. I don't beat myself up because it didn't go according to plan the first time. The best thing to do is relook at everything and go, okay, now this would make it better if I did that, So use anything that doesn't go right for you as excellent feedback. Last tip, I guess, is that some goals are really big. And if you find that you've just created a really big goal for yourself, then the best thing to do is to chunk it, to make it very specific, into smaller chunks. So you do this section first, and then you move on to this other section. So plan that and get it chunked down, because otherwise, if you've chosen a goal that's large, then you're going to find that probably very overwhelming, and you're going to find it very difficult to control and get into, and that they then may feel as if you actually can't cope or you're not going to achieve it, and that's the last thing you want to do. So do little tiny sections of it at a time. So chunk it down so that it does not become overwhelming and unmanageable. So yes, that's it. So be positive, be proactive, and don't procrastinate when you're doing your goals. You shouldn't procrastinate in any case, because you have some really good strategies that you can use to set your goals and achieve them. So if you want to learn any more about goal setting, because like I said, this is just an introduction, then please get in contact with me. Yeah, I would love to hear from you, and thank you so much for viewing this little goal introduction today. Thank you.